Up with KREM begins now.
Right now on Up with KREM, National Guard troops deployed across Louisiana as Tropical Depression Ida continues across the South.
And we're taking you outside. I talked the S word in parts of the Cascades. Here, though, far from it. Nice and dry and no snow on the ground there.
Plus, federal pandemic unemployment benefits are coming to an end this week. Thanks so much for joining us on Up with KREM.
Thanks. I'm Channing Curtis. He's Tim Pham. We're having a good Tuesday morning here in the inland Northwest, but in down south they are going through it as the aftermath of Hurricane Ida is just starting to be evaluated. But conditions in the southern part of the country will make it harder on people still unable to evacuate.
The National Weather Service predicted New Orleans could reach a heat index that could potentially cause life-threatening illness up to 103 degrees today. So Louisiana's levee system appears to have mostly held up against Ida. Its electrical grid, though, did not fare so well. More than 1 million homes and businesses were left without power.
Now, over 5,000 National Guard troops have been deployed across the state, and some 3,600 FEMA employees are headed to the region. Residents who evacuated were urged to stay away while first responders look for survivors. So far, officials say 2 people have died, but they fear the death toll could turn out to be much higher.
We know that individuals are out there waiting to be rescued. Please know that we have thousands of people out right now with high water vehicles and boats who are doing search and rescue.
It is going to be hot here, so I know that people are going to be making accommodations to go someplace where they can get air conditioning.
Now, Ida was downgraded to a tropical depression on Monday afternoon. The storm is expected to continue to weaken as it moves northward, though it could still cause flash flooding in some places.
Our former weather anchor here on Up with KREM is in New Orleans this morning. Evan Arani, reporting with our sister station in San Diego now, has the latest from Louisiana.
Today, residents across New Orleans and the state of Louisiana are seeing the aftermath and the damage caused by Hurricane Ida. One of the areas that we've been at today is this apartment complex in Kenner, about 10 minutes outside of New Orleans, where fire officials say someone tried to use a generator inside of their apartment, and that potentially was the cause of this fire. They say they're still investigating that, but in total, 24 units burnt to the ground here after this fire began. It is estimated that across New Orleans, about 1 million people are still without power more than 24 hours after this hurricane passed through. Winds at about 140 miles an hour. This hurricane made landfall as a Category 4 storm. We were here in New Orleans at our hotel room when this hurricane passed through. At the time, emergency services said they wouldn't be able to respond to people, and that's exactly what happened here when this fire began as the storm was passing. The people who evacuated, the mayor of New Orleans says, do not return to New Orleans quite yet. They are still responding to flooding and people who were trapped in their homes. They're still responding to about 1 million people without power, and they say that is going to continue over the next 2, maybe even 3 weeks here in New Orleans. Now, another thing to note is that so far the death toll is at about 2 people. They say that number is expected to rise because they are still trying to investigate and respond to those calls that came in as Hurricane Ida was passing through. Outside of New Orleans, I'm Evan Arani, KREM 2 News.
Now, it's definitely going to be hot down south today, but what is it going to be like here in the inland Northwest? Cooler temperatures, maybe?
You know,
a little windy, right?
It's super windy, yeah.
Super windy, and Channing's always been talking about her love of everything fall and pumpkin spice, and you know, today might be the day to just go overboard.
Yes.
All the pumpkin,
all the
fall vibes.
pumpkin, everything. Yes.
I'm going to go to the pumpkin store a little bit later, but you got to enjoy it while you can because those. Yeah.
Where's that at?
Any store that sells pumpkin.
All right.
Okay. Live it up. All right. So it is going to be a little bit fall-like today, but don't worry, those warm temperatures are back, especially as we head into the weekend, and it's a holiday weekend. So for now, it's this. Look at that. A little bit of cloud cover there in Coeur d'Alene. That cloud cover is set to move out today. We have some clouds there and temperatures staying in the upper 40s in Spokane as well. 50 in Sandpoint, 52 in Moses Lake, and 54 in Wenatchee. Air quality remains at moderate early on this morning, and it is quickly trending toward good here across the inland Northwest. So just know that we likely get some, oh wow, there we go. We actually just got a big time improvement down to 34 in the latest update. So air quality sits at good and likely stays there for a bit longer today, but today and yesterday going to be very similar in terms of that air quality. Wind gusts do stay strong though. We'll see gusts up near 20 miles per hour here in Spokane, 30 miles per hour out in the central portions of the state, and that plays a big role in what we will wind up seeing in terms of fire danger. Fire danger remains high today despite those cooler temperatures and a little bit more moisture in the air. We've got an ongoing drought. We've got wind. Basically, you have two ingredients of a very good fire. Basically, if you want a fire, you need air, you need fuel, and you need a spark. We have fuel, that's the dry vegetation. We have air, that's the wind. Don't be the spark. That's my pro tip for you today. And as we head through the day, notice temperatures do remain a little bit cooler. Here's that taste of fall. We top out in the upper 60s later this afternoon.
Today, Idaho Governor Brad Little will make a live announcement regarding COVID-19 in the state.
So the governor hasn't released much about what he will say, but we do know that this announcement will be happening at 11:30 this morning. We will be carrying it live inside the KREM 2 app and on KREM.com.
In North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District reported 316 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. Hospitalizations are also high with 102 people. 358 people have died in North Idaho since the start of the pandemic.
It is time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
A GoFundMe account has been set up for a favorite Spokane bookstore that had its storefront window smashed out Sunday night. Auntie's bookstore's window was completely shattered. The damage will cost them a couple of $1,000s to repair it. But the good news is that no one was hurt during the incident and nothing was stolen. Spokane police have a suspect in custody. They're being charged with malicious mischief and obstruction. So far, the GoFundMe has raised about $265, but if you're in need of a book, a candle, or any type of gift, the store says they could use your support.
A judge in the trial for Lori Vallow told attorneys that he wants a more detailed progress report on her mental health. He told them during a status conference this week he received 2 letters from the Department of Health and Welfare written by the treating physician. However, he stated those letters did not rise to the level of being an adequate progress report on her competency.
Joint Base Lewis McCourt soldiers will be going to California to help crews overwhelmed by the wildfires. 200 JBLM soldiers will become firefighters for the next month, maybe even longer. Captain Matt Schultz says he's never been on the fire lines, but will be working with some who've served in the military.
Being able to work with them, knowing that they have already volunteered and have been willing to put their life on the line, they continue to do so, makes me extremely grateful and proud to be still in the military.
The Dixie Fire in Northern California has burned through more than 700,000 acres. It's California's second largest fire on record.
Federal pandemic unemployment benefits are coming to an end this week. That means people will no longer receive an additional $300 a week. So Grant Olson, a cellist with the Village Theater Orchestra, is one of the 275,000 Washingtonians who filed for unemployment last week. But his orchestra can't perform right now. He's been receiving pandemic emergency unemployment compensation and an extra $300 a week. Olson is pushing for extra benefits to be extended, or else he may need to find another line of work.
When do I just say, okay, I need to go out and get another job and just like risk health and safety of family and friends around me to make an income?
Benefits were extended back in March of 2020 when reported cases nationally were 1/3 of what we're seeing now. Right now, it's the feds that say it's unlikely we'll see another extension. That's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. The Caldor fire is burning aggressively across the Sierra Nevada mountains. Coming up on the CW22, KREM 2's Joshua Robinson gives us a look at the conditions.
And we are going to take you outside. Air quality now down to good, 34 on the AQI, and we likely trend between good and moderate today and tomorrow. I'll let you know why coming up in the full forecast.